Hello, hello, guys. Welcome back. On this episode of Open to Everything, I got a good friend of mine here, Rosie Christian.
Yay.
How you doing?
Good, good. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, it's good to see you again.
Yeah,
I
good
haven't
to
seen
see
you
you.
in like, I don't know, a few months.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah. So I met Rosie over in Aspen about 5 years ago. We were at a NACO and Medicine for the People show.
Yes.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite bands still. Have you checked out the new
Oh, yeah.
record?
Oh, yeah. Love it.
I probably have played it like 30 times.
Same.
Yeah.
It's on repeat right now.
For
Yeah.
sure. What's your favorite song?
Right now, Dear Brother, it's just so relevant right now.
It
I
is,
think.
isn't it?
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
crazy
It's
relevant.
Amazing.
Mine is probably Slow Down.
Oh, yeah. Love.
I've probably listened to that 100 times, and yeah, it gives me goosebumps every single time. But
good.
yeah, so give us a little background on who you are, what you do.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, so I'm from Illinois, kind of a smaller town, 2 hours west of Chicago, and I moved to Denver in 2013 and became an elementary school teacher. And moving to Colorado really also solidified my, I guess, interest in this holistic healing world. And so when I moved here, I quickly discovered yoga and just kind of dove into that yoga journey. Became certified to teach yoga in 2015 and have been teaching yoga ever since. And also became a Reiki practitioner and a nutrition therapist. So
Cool.
I'm just kind of
You're all over the place.
just kind of immersing into this like alternative healing modality world,
Yeah.
and at the same time still teaching elementary school.
Yeah.
So
I guess COVID kind of hit you guys. Right?
yeah, it did. It was really interesting, abruptly shifting from in-person learning to immediately online, and
Yeah.
it was a big learning curve, but we got through it.
Well, you're doing yoga on the side now, right? Teaching online and teaching. That's why you're here, to tell us
Yeah.
about, some yoga philosophy. We're going to be talking about balancing chakras, and Rosie's going to give you like an insight as to what all this means. So
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, just give us a little overview on what you think yoga means to people and what it
Yeah.
means to you, I guess.
Yeah, so when quarantine hit, I guess like when we were in the thick of it, this lockdown and stay-at-home order, I just kept thinking how grateful I was to have this yoga practice, because I think if I didn't have it, I would have just been in really rough shape. Yoga to me is not just the physical postures that you see people practicing tree pose or warrior pose. It's way deeper than just the physical postures that you put your body into. It's not just about the shapes. Yoga is this philosophy and a guiding principle for a way of living. It's more than just the postures, like I said. It's also breath work, which we call pranayama, meditation, all things to do with kind of living your best life. It's
Yeah.
also about eating healthy, nourishing your body nutritionally as well.
So it's the whole overall wellness. It's just one facet
Yeah,
within
definitely.
that, or
Yeah, the way I think of it is like how can I live my yoga practice more? Like
Yeah.
off of the mat, off of these physical postures.
I like that. I went camping with some good friends 2 weeks ago, and I led my first yoga class.
Oh, you led it?
I led it.
Oh, that's awesome.
But I've been doing yoga for, I don't know, 8, 9 years
Yeah,
now.
you have.
And I love it. But, my perspective is, stretching is good for you, but I'm more about breath work. It's the only time where I can kind of focus in. It's my time, no cell phone, no anything. This is you and your mat, and you're releasing toxins, you're breathing through all this stuff.
Yeah.
But for the first time, I switched my brain to where I had to guide this, and
Yeah.
I didn't know how to do the inhale, exhale.
The cueing.
So I was like,
Yeah.
you guys know what you're doing.
Yeah,
I'm just going to leave
I'm
the
just gonna
stretches.
tell you. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all part of it.
How long have you been teaching? You said, what, 2013? Or
Well, I started practicing in 2013, and I've been teaching since 2015. So
Fun.
this month I actually hit my 5-year mark.
Nice.
So
Congrats.
yeah, it's a big celebration.
it's a
for me.
lifetime
Oh,
thing.
yeah. I can't wait till I get to 30 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. What's your favorite yoga pose and why?
Yeah, so this actually changes for me a lot. I think lately my favorite yoga pose has been child's pose. It's a pretty common one that I think most people know. It's where you're lying down on your stomach and you open your knees wide and bring your toes to touch and reach your arms long, resting on your mat. And this pose has been really critical for me lately. As I mentioned with quarantine, it's been really grounding. It's a stabilizing posture. You're low to the ground. You're physically laying your body down on the ground. So it's just a deeply connecting, grounding posture that is really soothing. If you're ever feeling uneasy and anxious, unsettled, child's pose is where it's at.
That's so interesting. I mean, you probably feel more grounded and at peace and maybe safe, if you will.
Yep, exactly.
I want to say my favorite pose is warrior. Probably reverse warrior. Because, I do this little bind behind and, reach all the way up, stretching the side body and just kind of like, I feel really powerful.
Yeah, you're able to access a deeper breath because you're opening up your side body and really access that deep breath.
Yeah, for sure. So you brought something here.
Yeah.
The Rosie chart. I've actually never seen this. This is really cool. What's going on in this?
Yeah, so this is one of the charts that really guides my philosophy in the way that I teach yoga, the way that I approach healing my own physical body, and the way I support my clients, whether yoga, nutrition, or Reiki clients with. The Rosie chart is based on the work of Louise Hay, Dorothy Martin Neville, and Carolyn Myss. They're some amazing healers in the field. And so basically, this chart has a depiction of a human body, and it goes through each of the chakras, from the first to the seventh chakra, and it describes how each chakra relates to your physical body and what beliefs or actions might coincide with the chakra and physical part of your body.
I have noticed this is kind of just like a little side deal, but the pineal gland gives the sense of purpose and meaning of life, spiritual connection with God. I work in water quality. I know I think you knew that, but fluoride in our water actually calcifies the pineal gland over time, which regulates what I tell people, mood and sleep. So that was just interesting to kind of see that. And then the right side, masculine, left side's feminine. Huh. I'm going to have to take a picture of this later.
Yeah,
and
you
show
should.
all these guys.
It's great.
On the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Well, tell us about what chakras are, maybe for somebody that doesn't necessarily know what they mean or how many they are. Or...
Yeah, so in yoga we have something called chakras, which are energy centers that are along your spine, and in yogic philosophy there are 7 of them. Chakra actually means wheel or vortex, and so it's an energetic space, and like I mentioned from the chart, that associates with different emotional, mental states, but also physical parts of the body as well. And the reason why I incorporate them into my practice is because the more that you become aware of these specific energy points in your body, the more you can kind of manipulate and work with them to heal that area of your body. You can meditate on a specific chakra. You can do specific things in your life to nourish or unblock or open up a specific chakra that can just help to bring your body and mind state into balance.
Yeah. And it always starts from the bottom, right? Bottom to the top, or?
So the first chakra does start at the tailbone, and the 7th is at the top, which is the crown chakra. You don't necessarily have to work in order, like from the first, and then you work on the second, then you work on the third. You really can go into a specific chakra in any order that is necessary to you, and that's going to be the most beneficial in that moment. For example, if I've got some neck stuff going on, right? Some neck and throat area issues. Maybe I've got a cold or like a lung issue. I'm going to be working on the 5th chakra. In order to do work on my 5th chakra, I don't really have to go 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th to get there. I can go into the 5th chakra and do the work there.
Yeah.
That's not to say that I need to ignore the others, but you don't have to specifically go in order to get some.
I'm really excited, obviously, to interview you about this or have you deliberate as to what all this stuff means. But I have, a chakra, basically a piece of paper that states affirmations within that chakra point. So I get that, where it's like maybe my heart chakra's perfectly fine, and then I need to get my throat chakra better. Can I do that through yoga? Can I do that through the affirmations?
Yeah.
How do I know if that one's blocked and it's affecting something else? Or
Yeah, definitely. That's the thing. I think it's really important to have a practice that works for you, where you can bring your inner awareness into check and know what you need to work on.
Yeah.
That's why meditation is huge, because you're able to open up your inner wisdom and discover, wow, my heart chakra could really use some love right now.
Yeah.
And then what affirmation can I pull out, or what yoga pose can I pull out that works on the 4th chakra?
And I guess when you're teaching yoga, do you, because you have a class, you don't really know what's going on in everybody else's life, but do you teach it through what you're needing at that time, or are you trying to give a...
So last year I did something really neat. I did a chakra series where for 1 month I had one chakra that I was focusing on. So for example, in June we did the 1st chakra, in July we did the 2nd chakra, and all of these classes were based on the musculature and the anatomy of that chakra, as well as the mental emotional state. So yeah, when I am teaching a whole class, it's kind of difficult to say, this person needs work on their root chakra, this person needs 4th chakra. And so the way that I offer these yoga classes is to be accessible for everyone, because it's not going to hurt you to work on a chakra in a yoga class if you don't necessarily need exactly that one. It's going to pretty much benefit everyone at that moment.
I'm not going to say you're necessarily a therapist, but do you have friends that come to you with certain problems and you're like, hey, that sounds like you need to focus on this? Or...
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, I'm not a therapist, but based on my knowledge and training that I have of the chakras, and based on just the work that I've done personally in my own experience, sometimes when I'm speaking with friends or yoga clients and I hear certain beliefs, or if we see specific actions, it's pretty easy to discover, wow, maybe you could work on some 2nd chakra healing aspect. So
it's a very simple chart, and some of the things that I'm noticing is that my 3rd chakra is messed up.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice all of that, and it's crazy because, like I said, I wish I had the sheet of affirmations in front of me, and sometimes I go through it and I'm like, okay, that one's good, or by reading this, it's helping me. But like I said, I'm just reading stuff. I'm not necessarily working on it, or like you said earlier, expanding the heart chakra or all that stuff. So it's, like I said, it's just interesting to have someone to be able to talk to about all this stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, if you want to go through, the 1st chakra is what?
Perfect.
Muladhara.
Yeah, so we can just kind of go through each of the chakras, starting from the base of the spine to the crown, and we can talk about the affirmations for each one, including different things that you can do to support that chakra.
Cool,
so the 1st chakra is all the way at the base of your spine, and in yoga it's called Muladhara. That's the Sanskrit word. And Sanskrit is this ancient yogic language that was primarily used for holy and spiritual scriptures and text. So we use this in yoga, and it's Muladhara. And this chakra is all about your safety, your security, feeling stable, and a sense of belonging to a tribe or a community. And so if you are feeling kind of the opposite of that, unsafe, uneasy, anxious, ungrounded, kind of lacking a sense of community and tribe, you may need to do some work on your first chakra. And so the color associated with the first chakra is red. So it helps to wear the color red, surround yourself with things that are red, to do grounding postures. Like I mentioned, child's pose is an excellent pose to make you feel safe and grounded. Doing a yoga class that has postures that are low to the ground. You can even think of calling members of your community, a family member, someone who makes you feel like you belong, or put yourself in a situation that makes you feel connected, like going camping with friends and things like that.
Every time we're going to go through all 7 of them, but I know I'm going to have something to think about while you're explaining this. And I know you could probably talk about this for years and years and years. But I want to say my root chakra is I want to say I'm a pretty grounded person. And it says right here what tribal power, safety and security, pride and ego, changing self-image. I love this stuff. Like I'm really going to have to take a picture of this and put it online for people to check out. But yeah.
Another good one that's really grounding is earthing. If you've ever heard of that, it's where you take off your shoes, your socks, and you just put your feet into the earth and just walk on the ground barefoot, right? That's an excellent practice for the first chakra. As far as any affirmations go, some affirmations that nourish this area are simply saying, I am safe, I am grounded, I am supported, I am at ease, right? So those are all really good affirmations for first chakra.
How do I put this? Do you encourage the chakra balancing through yoga, or can it just be through affirmations, or are there other
Definitely yoga is one way to access it, but like I said, wearing the color red, simply repeating these affirmations, meditating and visualizing your first chakra, just closing your eyes and bringing your awareness there. These are all ways to support this area. It doesn't just have to be through yoga. These are just many different access points.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
That's good to know. And then we've got the second chakra, power of relationships and sexuality and creativity. What's this one called?
So the second chakra in Sanskrit is called Svadhisthana. It is your reproductive area. It also includes your small intestines, your appendix, just your reproductive organs. And it is located at your abdomen, a few inches below your navel. And so when this area is in balance, you feel a strong sense of relationships. You feel connected in your relationships, secure. You feel connected to your sexuality and intimacy with your partner. If you have, you feel a strong sense of community and a sense of self as well. When this area is out of balance, you might feel lacking in your relationships, or a lack of trust and intimacy, lack of creativity, right? So I forgot to mention this about the first chakra, but the first chakra is associated with the earth element. That's why earthing, grounding down through bare feet is good. With second chakra, the element associated with it is water. So one thing that you can do is take a bath or play in the ocean if you can. Get into a body of water if you're able to kind of invoke that creativity and stronger sense of second chakra. The color associated with it is orange, so you can wear the color orange, and this will help. The stone for this chakra, there's also stones that associate with each of them, and this one is tiger's eye.
Ooh.
Yeah. So the postures that work for the second chakra, similar to the first chakra, are kind of more grounding postures, but also poses that get into your hips. So any hip opening postures.
Pigeon pose?
Yeah, pigeon pose, excellent. And horse pose, goddess pose, yeah.
I guess I was saying earlier it was reverse warrior is my favorite, but pigeon is probably my best.
Oh, yeah.
My favorite on the ground.
Pigeon is a good one.
I love the hips. I store all the stress in the hips. And
Yeah.
I'll sit there for 2-3 minutes and I come out and I'm like, wow,
Yep.
I just released a lot of tension. So what's the, not the Sanskrit, but what's the chakra called?
Swadhisthana.
Yeah.
Swadhisthana.
It's the, root chakra and then...
The second chakra, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And this deals with sexuality. That's interesting. Yep. I'm assuming that people that go on dry spells have a little lacking in their second chakra as well.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing about chakras. You can do certain things to nourish this area, right? Like your affirmations, enjoying time in water, digging into the hips physically. Yeah.
Well, let's get into that third chakra now, the yellow one. What's it called?
Sure. So the third chakra is called Manipura in Sanskrit, and it's located right at your core. So at your navel, it's your solar plexus, which is the bundle of nerves here at your belly button, and it's your core. So arguably like the strongest part of your body, right? So you can think of your strength, your powerhouse. This is where your fire is. So it's your personal power, your self-esteem, your confidence, and your identity, like the way you desire to show up in the world, the way you portray yourself, and your sense of trust. So when you might feel out of balance here, you might feel like you're lacking power, lacking willpower, or self-control.
Oh.
You also might be feeling like you lack trust, that you're feeling weak and inferior. You might not be able to make decisions very well. So this core is like where you can think of your gut being here, gut decisions, being able to make a decision. So if you struggle to make a decision, it's wise to check in here, check in on your gut and your core. And you might feel sensitive here, sensitive to feedback and critique. Your ego gets bashed a little bit easily here.
Well, I know in yoga, you guys always say strengthen your core, especially moving to the next pose or all that, flexing the core, having that conscious ability. I know it's protecting your lower back.
Oh yeah.
So
definitely.
It's good to be aware of this chakra or region, if you will, right?
You can also think of it like, if you want to think chronologically, the first chakra is your safety, stability, and your foundation. Your second chakra is your creativity. And your third one, you're ready to be yourself, right? You can kind of think of it going in order.
Yeah,
like that.
Kind of like Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Definitely.
When we get to the top one, self-actualization, that's all in the head, right?
Yeah,
all in the brain.
Definitely. So for third chakra, you can wear the color yellow. The color yellow is what's associated here. Like we mentioned, you can do core exercises, really getting your abs fired up, and the element here is fire. So just embodying this idea of fire, feeling fired up and passion, ready to go, and building heat.
I like that.
The stone for this one is amber.
Amber. Well, it says right here, the liver is through victimization and powerlessness. So I guess wearing yellow could, I would say yellow is one of my favorites on women. As far as like a yellow sundress is the first thing that I think of, it's like a daisy or a sunflower. So I'm wondering how all this kind of ties into, I guess, lack of balance in your third chakra. I guess it's if you're doing the victimization or the poor me mentality, and you wear yellow, maybe that kind of just helps with
it helps
with
support.
that feeling.
Yeah, and so if for people that may experience liver issues, like a sluggish liver, you might see that they often victimize themselves or they often feel powerless. So
that's kind of crazy.
Interesting when you think of perhaps alcoholics that suffer from liver disease, and what kind of mental or emotional manifestations come out. Is it a victimization or powerlessness to this alcoholism, perhaps? It's really interesting to draw parallels that way. So
I definitely could go into a tangential story, but let's
definitely
we'll save that for maybe a little later.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Yeah, we're gonna keep going up. This fourth chakra now, power of love and emotion.
So the fourth chakra is Anahata in Sanskrit, and it is your heart chakra. So right here at your chest, where your heart is located, your sternum area. And this one I've personally done a lot of work on, probably 5 years now. I've consistently been doing my best to nourish the fourth chakra. It is your love, your compassion, your ability to forgive, your ability to have hope and trust. And when your fourth chakra might be out of balance, you might feel grief, mourning, sadness, distrust, hopelessness, emptiness, even anger. This is where you hold hatred, and just feeling unforgiving. People say, like, I feel heartbroken, right?
Yeah.
Or that broke my heart. That's really, you can feel it.
Sounds like a very vulnerable chakra.
It is. It is. That's why I've worked on it for so many years, because it's a vulnerable place and we don't easily open up here.
Before I go more into depth about the fourth chakra, where does ego lie within this? Because I know ego, right? It's the mind. Or maybe, I don't know. It depends on the person. But I always say to people, your heart and your mind have to speak to each other. And when they're kind of unaligned, I do say I have a gut feeling, right? And then I make decisions through my heart. And my mind, I don't say we're all crazy. We're all creative.
Right. Yes.
So our mind can get lost in different areas. But wow, that really hit me hard, because my heart almost is like very, very, very open. We talk about heart openers and whatnot. I had to put my dog down, which definitely opened my heart. Went through a pretty unstable relationship, toxic relationship, but I yearned for the love and whatnot. But obviously, my mind and my heart were not working together. So when you were talking about, I guess I said it, vulnerability, but like holding in the hatred and holding in all this stuff, that really hit me just then. So
more and more research is being done that we can hold physically in our bodies trauma experiences. And if you kind of just think about the way we Westerners live our lives, we work all the time. We drive, we do a lot of sitting, typing, texting. We're consistently slouched over, guarding our hearts. Physically, because just the nature of the way we work, and also because, like I mentioned, it's easy to hold trauma physically in the body. So
wow,
it's work, but it's good work.
Maybe I've always said like the throat chakra which is the next one, right? My throat chakra is the most powerful one.
Oh, definitely.
But maybe not. Maybe it's the heart chakra that, your explanation and my reflection just kind of like moved it down from my throat to my heart. So I'm going to have to...
and it's unique to everyone, right? Like, you may feel that your throat chakra is the most powerful one at this certain phase in your life. Actually, the chakras do coincide with age periods in your life. So you build the foundation for your first chakra when you're 0 to 7 years old.
Oh, interesting.
And then 7 to 14 for the second chakra. Don't quote me on these exact age numbers because I don't have them memorized. But yes, so there are age phases for each of the chakras as well.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
I don't know about the 7 to 14 in the sexual region, but...
Well, if you think about it, that's when kids go through puberty and adolescence.
True,
So, yeah.
Interesting.
And that's when your creativity is spiked, your relationships are built, you go to middle school, you get a new set of friends for some people. So
wow.
it's just, yeah, it's really interesting. And
Yeah,
then,
and then
your sense of self when you become an adult, you're 18 and
right.
yeah.
And you start becoming, more, I wouldn't necessarily say vulnerable, but wanting to be accepted for who you are. So, when you're talking about this third chakra with personal power and self-esteem, that really is influenced a lot through social standing and
exactly.
and all that. So
exactly.
that's really interesting.
So the color for the heart chakra, we'll just go back to that for a second, is green. So you can wear the color green, even singing bowls, the meditation bowls that make the beautiful sounds. You can actually have certain bowls for each chakra as well. So the green heart chakra singing bowl is good for anahata. And just affirmations like I am love, I exude love, I manifest love. These are all beautiful affirmations. And of course, physical heart openers in your yoga practice, like your back bends, camel pose, wheel pose, just postures that really get your shoulders back and open up, doing the opposite of what we do all day.
Camel pose, I haven't done that in over a year.
Yeah, it might be a good one to check out.
I'll do that very soon, probably later today.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Then we're going up the ladder. Fifth chakra.
Yeah.
Located at your throat.
Yep, so fifth chakra is called Vishuddha, and it is at your throat, your neck area, and your throat here, you also include your mouth, so you think of it like this is your ability to communicate and express yourself and to express your power of will. This is also one for decision making. You're able to voice any concerns that you have and voice your decisions. And so I also like to include that this chakra is not just about voicing your opinions and expressing yourself. It's also your ability to listen as well. And so you can kind of assess your life and see, am I balanced here in voicing and listening at the same time? And where can I kind of keep myself in check a little bit to make sure that I'm taking in of information, listening and learning as much as I am speaking, educating, and voicing.
I actually had this conversation with someone next to the campfire a couple nights ago.
Yeah.
We were built with 2 ears and 1 mouth.
Yes, love
which means
that.
we need to listen
Yep.
more than we
Twice
speak.
as much, yeah.
Twice as much as we speak, yeah.
I think it's really relevant for right now with the Black Lives Matter movement as well. It's your duty to use your voice to express this love that comes from your heart chakra, and at the same time listen to those that need their voices to be listened to.
Oh, I agree. And we can go on the Black Lives Matter movement, a little later too, but it's definitely a time to hear what's going on, because I always think that you can't tell someone how they can feel.
I know.
And I hate when someone will say, oh, well, you don't feel that way, or are you sure about that, whatever it is.
Don't cry.
Yeah, it's like, no, this is...
Don't be mad.
Unless, and this has nothing to do with, the sidetrack from the Black Lives movement, but if it was just someone saying, oh, well, it's stupid to feel that way. What are you talking about? Like, that is a valid, it's almost everything is valid.
Yeah.
And especially with the movement, everything is validated. So it's time for people to actually listen. And I know we all have opinions about it, but at the end of the day, maybe it's time to sit down and be educated. So.
Certainly. Yeah, and so if this chakra feels blocked or out of balance, it might manifest as you feeling like you have a weak voice, or you feeling like you have an inability to speak. You might want to hide your voice. You might play it small, right, and not express yourself due to fear of judgment. Or you also, this one is really interesting, you might even feel like a cough or a sore throat here. That might be something to look into with throat chakra area. Even like neck issues, like pain in your neck, that's throat chakra, something to investigate. Any like type of nasal congestion, mucusy, is throat chakra stuff. And so to support this area, you can wear the color blue. Sing, literally sing, like put on your favorite music and sing your favorite song, listening to music. And like we just mentioned, take time to listen to others. Or, you know, if there's something that you've been holding back, get it out, say it, write a letter. If there's someone you've been meaning to tell something, let it out, because it's really blocking your throat chakra by you not.
You're hitting me on these last two chakras where, you know, it used to be my most powerful, but it's almost like you're negating that. Again, another, well, this may be from camping, but I was rubbing my neck a solid 7 hours throughout the whole thing. And I know I felt a lot of pain in the past few weeks with all of this stuff. And I've been listening a lot, went to a few protests. But even, you know, when you really want to be vulnerable with, let's just say, one of your best friends, and you don't know how to because it may come off or unaccepting, does that relay to, because I had a kind of, not a sore throat, but yeah, I was kind of just holding back something, which maybe went then to my neck. It's kind of crazy how you
that's the thing. And so that's why this idea and having this awareness of all of your chakras is so beneficial to your life, because if you're feeling anything in this neck throat area, it might be wise to do what's coming from your heart and express it, let it out, right? So like what's coming from down here, from the heart area, this gateway from the self to expression, let it out.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, and so another thing that's good for the throat chakra, some yoga postures that get your hips and your belly above your throat. So any inversions, or anything where you're able to like tilt your head back. Camel pose is also a really good one for throat chakra. Even when you're in down dog, like shake your head out, shake your neck out, and like release anything that's building up there. Another good one for this one, this is Ayurveda wise, is like tongue scraping. Do you do that? Tongue scraping is so good to do right when you wake up in the morning, because it just kind of gets any like gunk off of your tongue.
Well, I guess it's really the back of the toothbrush, right?
Some people have it on the back of a toothbrush, or you can use a metal spoon if you have, or you can actually buy a tongue scraper. Dr. Tongues creates them. It's a beautiful Ayurvedic ritual that kind of gets any lingering toxins off of your tongue, so you start the day with a clean slate and ready to use your voice.
Yeah, cool.
And the stone for this chakra is aquamarine.
So why it's light blue?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
You're putting me in my place, because I'm obviously reflecting through all of this stuff, and
we have homework.
Yeah, we do have homework. All of us.
Yes.
All of the listeners too.
Yep.
Cool. So let's go up to that 6th chakra.
Yeah, so the 6th chakra is Ajna chakra, and this is located at your third eye center of your forehead, and like you mentioned, the pineal gland. And this area is the power of your mind, your adequacy, your truth, and your reasoning abilities. And so it's kind of like you can think about your psychological capacity to understand what mindsets you hold, what beliefs and attitudes you hold. So I like to think of this as like, this is the woke chakra.
Yeah.
Like, I know my mindsets, I know my biases, I know my experiences and beliefs. And so your ability to use that power to empower yourself, but also to empower others as well.
Well, and hopefully it's in a positive aspect too,
exactly.
Right? And you know, you're here practicing, you practice what you preach, which is beautiful, because I know a lot of people that don't necessarily do that. And you know, it's kind of questionable. It's like, well, who are you?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I've been reading this book. They did a study at Harvard, you know, the past 80 years, and they bring these guys in. I think, you know, they started when they were 20 years old at Harvard, back in the 20s, and they gave them yearly assessments. But basically, at the end of their life, what makes people happy is their basically social status, their I guess going back to the first
tribe,
chakra,
right?
yeah, the tribe.
Oh, wow.
And your relationships with others, and how do you have relationships with others is to be a good person, through time. But I guess going back to your wokeness, I want to be positive. I don't want to have to see the negative in every situation. I know our subconscious, we can look outside and say, oh, it's so hot, I wish it was cloudier, as opposed to I'm appreciative that it is warm outside and I can go sit in the sun and I can get some vitamin D. So it's always, almost every thought is you have an ability to go positive or you have the ability to go negative.
Exactly.
So, right, does that have to do with kind of the third eye being opened and accepting?
Yeah, definitely. And you can think about it like this is where your two eyes are located, right? And so it's your ability to see things as they are, not good or bad, but just it is what it is, right? And then you can choose using the power of your mind to find the gratitude in it, right? Like using the love that comes from your heart to see the positive side.
Well, and it's perspective based. I know
Yeah,
we all
definitely.
have different perspectives on the exact same situation. It's cool, and that's why we're kind of talking about this stuff.
Yeah.
That's why my podcast is named Open to Everything.
Open to everything.
Yeah.
Yes. Cool. So when you feel blocked in your sixth chakra, you may feel lacking the ability to see the big picture or to see things clearly. Things might feel foggy. You might not feel like you can see the truth in situations. You might feel like you're trying to control things but not really knowing exactly why or if it's the right thing. And so you might also feel like you lack the answers or like lacking wisdom, right? Like your third eye is your intuition. You might feel like you're lacking in that. And so what you can do here is to wear a dark blue color or purple. You can get an amethyst crystal. That's the stone for this chakra. And like I mentioned earlier, visualize and meditate on this third eye chakra. So you can do this with all of the chakras. Close your eyes and meditate on that specific area. That'll really bring you a sense of power to your mind and a connection to your intuition.
What's your opinion on the most powerful one? Because I have a thought. This is where I'm going to go with this. But the third eye almost seems like it could control a majority of them, right? If you're meditating on it, and right, you want to manifest this, but then you don't verbalize it, right? Putting it out in the universe and manifesting it, then that's obstructing your throat chakra, or the stuff in your mind could be messing with your heart chakra, and that's kind of where I was going with it. What do you think is the most powerful one?
Yeah, so I still maintain that certain people can feel that a chakra is stronger than the other in their body. However, I would say that personally I feel like the seventh chakra, Sahaswara, is the strongest. And I'll get to it in a minute, but it is your connection to the divine.
Okay.
And so that is your connection to universal oneness. That's where it all comes from.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's almost a good transition then, unless we have even, we could talk about
let's
the third
see if we
eye
have anything to wrap up for third eye. For yoga postures that support this area is yoga postures with your forehead on the earth. So you can think of like pranams. I'm not sure if you know what they are, but it's where you like prostrate yourself and just lay on the ground and put your forehead on the earth. Child's pose is also a good one because your forehead is resting on the ground. And other poses where you get your head above your heart and you're just kind of like standing in your power, or when your palms are in prayer and you're just gently brushing your thumbs to your forehead. Even getting upside down, like inverting into a headstand or a handstand is good because you're kind of, if you can visualize your blood like draining and rushing to your head, working things out, draining things out. Is
this the chakra of intuition? Because now it is.
Yeah, okay. And so that's some people, you can visualize your intuition coming from your gut gut instincts and your intuition, and also your heart, like what is your heart telling you, and your third eye. So these are 3 energetic points where you can gain your inner wisdom from. That's why chakras are so important to align them, and which one needs more work than the other, or are they in balance?
Is this a daily acknowledgement of these, or for you?
So one thing that I do is a head, heart, and gut check every day.
Yeah.
Are my actions based on my head, heart, and gut check? It helps me make decisions. If my head is telling me one thing, my heart's telling me another, my gut's matching my head, I've got to get all 3 aligned. So, and you can specifically work on one that needs it more than the other, and it's really telling, just bringing you awareness. So,
awesome. I've got tons more questions
for
later.
Perfect.
If the listeners here, enjoy the podcast, we can go to the YouTube channel, and we're going to be going a little more in depth on this stuff because I'm super interested.
So, 7th chakra is called Sahaswara, and like I mentioned, it's located at the crown of the head, and this is where we're getting closer to the connection with the divine, or if you call it God or universal love, whatever you call it, but this is really your connection to spirituality, your sense of oneness, that we are all interconnected, right? Like I am you, you are me, and this is really where you connect yourself with all spirituality. When you're in the flow here, you're able to see this universal oneness. You're able to kind of take the flow of life and, again, see things for what they are, but you're also able to see yourself and others and have more compassion and feel connected to others and appreciate their perspectives and kind of have a little more patience and understanding, which is not always easy to do, right? And so that's why it's located at the crown of the head, because as you're meditating here on this chakra, you can visualize kind of a funnel, if you will, that's open at the top. And you can visualize a really bright white light going into this funnel and just illuminating your body with this bright white light that is the divine.
Yeah. Can it be an inverse funnel where we're shooting it outward?
Yeah, definitely. That's a beautiful way to think of it.
Yeah. Well, I guess it could be coming from the third eye through the heart chakra out of the throat chakra, right?
Yeah, and
but,
that's one
if you're
way.
When we were going back on self-actualization and the divine, and you're spiritually aware, and your self-confidence and all this stuff is there, you can portray it to outwardly,
exactly.
Right? That's where I was saying the light from within comes out and it inspires people, it attracts people,
You can even think of like your hands as an extension of your heart.
Yeah.
Are you using your hands in a compassionate way and building, healing things, or are you destroying things, right? Or typing away at a keyboard with negativity, right? You can think of your hands as an extension of that.
Well, and this goes back to, I love it. Obviously I met you a long time ago, but you've both been in kind of the hippy-dippy world, but consciousness is so important, and it doesn't even need a title, but it needs to be aware, because when you're, let's just say, abusing emotionally your partner, you need to be aware of that. Or when you say an extension of your heart through your hands, like if you're physically abusive, some people can't stop and they have no idea why. Like that's horrible. Be consciously aware, and like your practices daily. Mine is going to start being more frequently for sure after all this, because being in tune and whatnot, all this stuff helps with self-awareness. And
definitely.
That's kind of, again, the point of the podcast. We want to be open to all these things that are going to help us succeed and excel in our personal growth.
Yep, that's what it's all about.
It's beautiful.
And so if you're feeling blocked in this area, the 7th chakra, you might not be able to see this universal oneness. You might not even recognize what it even means. You might feel lost spiritually, not really a sense of purpose, and you might overthink things and resist the flow of life. And so, as I mentioned, with that specific meditation, visualizing the funnel coming from the divine, pouring white light down into your body, you can also use clear quartz crystals and just really meditate. This chakra is really nourished when you meditate at length. You can even visualize a white lotus flower just gently resting at the crown of your head, and just really try to feel peace in your entire body, just flooding with that white light, and continue to do your best to see the oneness in all, and let that live in your actions.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. So that's it for, I guess, all the chakras, right?
Yeah.
You got anything else to kind of elaborate on the chart, or anything coming that you want the listeners to hear?
Yeah, that's just it. Just taking time to be mindful every day, whatever that means to you, whether it's sitting on a meditation cushion in silence, or maybe it's a walk around your neighborhood, or lying down and just resting, like whatever you can do to assess where you're at, to see where you need to do the work, I think is really important.
Awesome.
Starting there.
Yeah. Well, that's it for the podcast, or the audio version of this Balancing Chakras and Yoga Philosophy. But if you want to tune into the YouTube channel, we're going to keep going on some certain things. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. So, yeah, what are a few inspirations that keep you going through tough times and dark times? I know we kind of talked about Black Lives Matter and COVID and all this stuff. So what's helping you get through all this?
Yeah, so I have been doing Deepak Chopra's and Oprah's meditation challenges over quarantine, and I discovered them a few years ago. They team up and do like a 21 or 28 day meditation challenge, and it's just so helpful for me because it holds me accountable and makes sure that I practice every day. And so they just did a meditation challenge that was called Hope in Uncertain Times. It was just really powerful and grounding. So.
Yeah. I was doing Jay Shetty. You know who that is?
Okay. No, I don't.
He's I guess I'm following in his footsteps.
Okay,
but
nice.
He's the #1 health podcast on Spotify.
What's his podcast called?
On Purpose. And yeah, super, super inspirational, but he was doing live Instagram daily meditations, and I did that. I've completely changed I would say during the winter, I'd be going to sleep at midnight, waking up at 9, 10 a.m. Sleep is great, right?
Oh, yeah.
But through quarantine, right, you start sleeping in more and whatnot. So once he came out with this, I've read 6 books through quarantine and completely have shifted my daily rituals. So,
nice. It's had an impact.
I've gotten to plant the garden outside, so I spend a lot of time in my garden every morning. Wake up at 5:30. I've never had a routine in my life.
Oh, nice.
But it's straight up, garden, then gratitudes and affirmations, then some breath work. You ever heard of Wim Hof?
Yeah.
I'll do Wim
from
Hof.
You.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to do a podcast with someone who's going to hike Mount Kilimanjaro with him.
Oh my gosh.
Shirtless.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so he just got certified through Wim Hof to be able to kind of teach this.
Wow, that's amazing.
Then either yoga or working out. Then I do a bunch of sprints, take vitamins and supplements and all this stuff. And by 10 a.m., I'm like supercharged.
Yeah.
Feeling powerful.
That's so good.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
But actually, going back on Oprah, I sent my mom something from Oprah last week.
Oh, nice.
It's like a 14-minute video on like the 10 things that make you happier. She's just, she's going through a breakup and whatnot, so I had to boost her spirits.
Oh,
and Oprah was the person that
she's amazing.
She is.
I love Oprah.
Yeah, super inspirational woman.
Yep.
What were we talking about? Going back on this, chakra thing. Oh, like the most powerful one, right?
Yeah.
What do you think is the most powerful one? Because, like I said, I do. From your perspective and through my reflection, through listening to you talk, man, my third eye, I guess, yeah, it's affecting the throat and the heart. And, man, I guess to get a little vulnerable, yeah, my third chakra is all sorts of whacked out right now. And I haven't been to the doctor in, I don't know, like 2 years.
Yeah.
But I also went through, like I said, a bad relationship. That could be messing up everything. So I'd love to get back to that. And I think even through my routines and reading and all that stuff, it makes me powerful and happy temporarily. But wholeheartedly, something could still be missing.
I think, yeah, and that's the neat thing. You can do simple chakra meditations that do go through all 7 of them. Like if you have Insight Timer, you can just search up chakra meditations, and some of them are even 5 minutes long. And you can just kind of assess where you are and go in order from 1st to 7th chakra and feel which one is lacking or which one might feel really powerful right now.
What's your record on Insight Timer?
Oh, it's not.
No?
No, it's broken because I did Deepak and...
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's one day because I did one this morning. So day one.
Day one?
But that's okay. Yeah, I'm not counting anymore because I took space from Insight Timer to do the Chopra Center app.
I'm gonna have to try that out. I'm on Insight Timer and I got up to 131.
Oh, it's amazing.
And then the next day, it's weird, 131 days in a row.
Yeah.
And then the next day, I just forgot about it.
Oh, whoops.
Which blew my mind. And then the next day it went normal again. Like I didn't even realize that I had skipped a day, and it was like, that little circle.
Darn.
1.
Yeah.
I didn't get pissed.
Yeah.
Probably because I did, 131 days.
Probably because you're already...
Whoa, what?
You're like, wait, come on.
Yeah.
Give me another chance.
I messed up, man. So this is something, I've never had to concentrate on women's health, right? Because I'm a male. And I've got a couple of guys that are coming on doing, mental health for men. And
awesome.
One of my friends, he had cancer, then overcame it. And, he came in with us this past weekend. But nice. I guess, is there something... Do you take certain supplements every single day? Like, what's your going back to, mind, heart, and gut checks. I know you're an extremely healthy woman, and I know that resonates with everything else that goes along. So
we're going to have to do another podcast about this, Eric.
Right? Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you asked. So the second chakra is where that would be for women's reproductive health. And in addition to these chakra meditations or affirmations, what have you, I do something called seed cycling to support the hormonal balance in my body. And so based on what phase I am in, my follicular phase or the luteal phase of my menstrual cycle, I take specific seeds for those days. So it's sunflower seeds and sesame seeds for the second half of my cycle, and then the first half of the cycle is pumpkin seeds and flax seeds. And I also do take a supplement called evening primrose oil when I am taking the sunflower and sesame seeds.
Yeah. I had a friend talk about, the moon and her cycle recently, and that's...
It's also fascinating.
I bet it is fascinating, but to me, it's goes way over my head because I don't concentrate about that stuff. But
well, if you think about it, the moon is so powerful that it affects the tides in the ocean. So
right.
How
and the ocean's powerful.
Yeah,
we're
moon
a single
is
body.
so powerful, right?
Yeah.
So it's crazy to think that the moon doesn't affect your body.
Yeah.
That's my personal
Fair
belief.
enough. I didn't say it didn't. I'm
No,
just like,
I know.
It's way over my head.
It's something that you've never really thought about, I'm
no,
sure.
I hadn't. And when your analogy of the waves, I'm like, wow. Well, I guess there's liquid circulation in our body, so it has to throw us off somehow.
Yep.
Come on, Lady Luna.
Yeah.
So Mercury in retrograde is actually a thing.
Yeah. Apparently. It'll mess you up.
Cool. Well, so This is the first time I'm doing this, and I am copying it from Jay Shetty. He does this like speed question round.
Okay, cool.
Where you're gonna fill in the blanks
Okay,
to
great.
the end of the statement. I'm gonna ask 5, basically, whatever comes to mind, whether it's positive, negative, inspirational, sexual, educational, philosophical. No more than one sentence. So, I feel the most empowered when
I can empower others.
What is the song that gets you through hard times?
It's definitely any Nako song. And
What's the current Nako song?
well, Dear Brother, like I said, and the also, what is it? Bend Like the Willow? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Bend like the willow.
Yes, I love that one
Cast
right
your
now
love.
because he says, you are stronger than your deepest fears. Is that what he says? I can't remember.
You are wise beyond your
Yes,
years.
I love that. It just really gets me through.
Yeah.
And I shared it with
That's
a friend
funny.
the other day because I think that's so powerful.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yes.
Next country you want to travel to?
So, Costa Rica. I've already been there, but I know I want to go back. My heart's being called back there.
I have no doubt that you're going to go back there soon.
I will.
Within the next year.
Yeah, hope so.
I feel the happiest when.
I feel the happiest when I can feel fully present and my attention is fully here.
Yeah.
And nothing else is weighing on my mind or my heart.
Oh man, I want to elaborate on that.
Yeah.
But this is the speed question, right? So we'll come back to it maybe. Okay. In 5 years, I see myself.
I really want to buy a home.
Yeah.
In the next 5 years because I love my place right now that I'm renting. I just also want to buy a home where I can have space to garden and grow my own food and hopefully have a space where I can support a larger number of people in my own space where I can.
Are you thinking Denver or Colorado? Or
yeah,
somewhere?
Definitely in Denver, somewhere in Colorado. If it's maybe outside of Denver is okay, but that's where I see myself in 5 years, just being able to hold a space for my home sanctuary and a space where I can have people come to my home and have a little piece of that too.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, if you want to stay connected, right? What's your Instagram?
Yeah, so my Instagram is Rosie Christian Yoga and my website is rosiechristian.com. And you can catch up with me to check out some of my free meditations that I do on Instagram. Lots of yoga stuff going on there. And you can also book a yoga class, a private or a group yoga class. I do virtual yoga classes on Zoom every Thursday at 4 Mountain Time.
Yeah.
And also take Reiki clients.
She's amazing, guys. Go see her.
Lots of stuff.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that's totally it for the episode of Open to Everything. Our hopes are to encourage you to seek growth where we can be open to everything. So, cool.
We did it.
Yeah. Good seeing you again.
Yay.